Hello everyone, today I'll be showing you a flush with the floor elevator that obviously goes up and down, is seamless, so the elevator shaft has no gaps, and as you can see, you can wire in an optional call option, so you can call the elevators from the top or the bottom, or if you want, you can make it without the call function, have it so that the top and the bottom are completely separate. So you can see this is the top, this is the bottom, the middle is completely clear. However, unfortunately, you can't wire in a call function if you leave it like that. But if you like that aesthetic, you can build it like this without any problems with the machine. An example use case for this design, for example, in our future storage system, in the little SMP I play on, we needed an elevator on this top floor, which was basically completely empty. And it needed to be flush to the floor. And I also wanted this to be seamless, and this is what this design is useful for. As you see, when you go down to the bottom, it goes down into the middle of the room, so the bottom and the top have to be completely clear. So this is just an example of what you could use this elevator design for. So before you build this, you need to have at least 6 blocks down from the top floor. This part is required for the top module. You can't get any shorter than this. Alright, so I've marked out the bottom and the top floor, and let's mark out the input side. So this is, for example, where the button is going to be. So let's just mark it out with the iron blocks for now. Alright, so now for 4 blocks down, you put an observer facing away from the input side. So this is an input side. It's going to be on this side of the hole. The hole has to be 2 by 2. Right. So this observer goes here. You want to put a slime block on top of that. Then sticky piston on the side of this slime block. And you need to put 2 observers right here. One going into the slime block, one above. Put another sticky piston here. And then you can put either slime or honey. If you're low on one of these materials, you can use the other. It doesn't matter for this top one. But however, this needs to be a slime block. You can't substitute a honey block for this one. Alright, and then this top layer is going to be the blocks you stand on when the elevator goes up and down, so you can put whatever. Just has to be movable. Alright, we can build the trigger for this as well. So you need to trigger this bottom observer to send this fly machine upwards. So it's just a piston there. Let's just put a button here for demonstration. You can wire it up however you want. It's really simple. You just have to trigger this piston somehow. So let's actually do this. We'll put a note block here. We'll power QC, quasi-connectivity. Alright, let's not fire it yet because we haven't built the stopping mechanism yet. So what you want to do is build the shaft out of glazed terracotta or anything that isn't movable, but I'd suggest glazed terracotta, since if you use droppers or something that activates with redstone, these observers will be constantly triggering like droppers if you use them, for example. So I'd use glazed terracotta because it's cheap and looks nice. Like I said, 6 blocks minimum. There you go. There you go. Now let's put the button here. Alright, that's gonna be our input. Now you want to put the stopping mechanism, which isn't doesn't have to be iron. You can put any movable block here. And then you want a normal piston here and this is the stopping mechanism, this is the trigger mechanism. And then you want pistons on the side here as well to push it back. This button goes here, sorry. Alright, so the button goes here. Put a redstone dust down here. And then put an observer here, block here, make this pattern here, Alright, and then 3 repeaters. 2 of them on full delay, just 1 of them on regular delay. And as you can see, pushes it back. Unfortunately, there's a double triggering, but it doesn't really matter, since the flying machine's already going to be down here by the time the piston double fires, and it doesn't affect anything. As long as you don't spam it, it doesn't break anything. Alright, time for the stopping mechanism. So on the side, remember that this observer over here is on the left side. If you're facing the input side, it's on the left side at the back. So then on the 6th block down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, put a block there, redstone dust, and we'll snake it up here. A repeater on 3 ticks. So that is the stopping mechanism. Sorry, I made one small mistake. This repeater here isn't necessary, so you can just break that and replace it with a block, and the stopping mechanism will work exactly the same. You can just save on 1 repeater here. As you can see, it still works normally. Alright, so now when the flying machine comes up, it'll trigger this piston, pushing this block over here, so that this iron block will be here, and since the slime blocks or the honey blocks will stick to this iron block, it'll make this piston right here, it'll push it over the push limit. Since it's pushing 12 blocks right now, that's the push limit. It'll make it so that the piston pushes 13, which it can't push. So then it stops the flying machine at the top. So that's how the stopping mechanism works. But now if it pushes it, it won't push it back. So we need to build in the return mechanism, or the thing that resets the stopping mechanism. So what you want is an observer here. Put blocks here. And just 2 repeaters on maximum delay. And that's it. That should be the flying machine done. Alright, stopping mechanism works perfectly fine. And as you can see, if it resets itself. When I send it down, and you see it stops perfectly fine. Side note, or important note, this has to be either solid ground or an immovable block. So yeah, otherwise this machine will just keep going down and then eventually get stuck. So it has to be either, this block has to be not be able to move. Alright, so this is basically it if you don't want to install the calling function. If you install the calling function, you'll have lines of redstone or slime blocks that will go up and down. So if you want to keep this aesthetic and keep the middle completely clean, you can leave it as is. Unfortunately, you can't really wire in a calling function, since the calling function functions by triggering both the top and the bottom pistons. So for example, if you push this top button, it'll activate this bottom piston as well. And you can wire it up however you want. For example, I'll show you how I did it in my example. So you just want, how I did it is like this, and then you put a redstone block up here. So then when you press this button, it'll activate this piston right here, which is the triggering mechanism. So if the flying machine is up here, the bottom button will trigger the top triggering mechanism, sending the machine down. We can do the same for the top part. So let's see. This button will power this redstone dust, which will power this block, and we can use that to power a piston down here with quasi connectivity. And we'll just update it by using a chain of pistons. So let's see, we can do something like this. There we go. So this piston will, the redstone dust will power this by quasi connectivity as well. But this piston will update that piston, so this piston will fire, update this sticky piston. You can, for example, wire up some honey so it doesn't stick to the slime blocks. And you can put an observer right here and have it power this block. Alright, let's test it out. So let's see if the top column function works. Yes, it does. Now we can test out the bottom one as well. Let's wait for those pistons to stop firing. And there you go. So the principle is basic. It's very basic. You just need to trigger this top trigger with the bottom button, or trigger the bottom trigger with the top button. It's very simple. And that's it. That's it for the calling function. So that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.